Hello friends, we have come to the end of our discussion on the Archetypes of Literature by Northrop Frye. So, a few concluding remarks, then we will say goodbye to this and we will pass on to something else of interest to you. So, first and foremost, we understand that the theory as such, it was popular in 1940s and 50s, and it provides a synoptic view of the scope, theory, principles and techniques of literary criticism. That's the thing, a synoptic view. What is synoptic? When you are submitting, you are preparing for your dissertation or your thesis, PhD thesis, you submit the synopsis. Synopsis means, an overall view of the subject that you are going to, or the work that you are going to do. So it provides, the theory here, it provides a synoptic view of the scope of criticism, theory of criticism, principles of criticism, and techniques of literary criticism. That's the first point to know. So it gives a synoptic view. Alright. As concluding remarks, you can say a synoptic view of literary criticism. That's what you can see. So the whole thing is about literary criticism. Understand? And then second, in literature we find recurrent universal patterns or motif holding the same or similar meaning and significance for all individuals in every age, in every part of the world. So that's the point. So we find recurrent universal patterns. Say we have seen already, different patterns. One is in the world, in every age, every part of the world, and all individuals. What do we have? Only two visions. One is a comic vision and the other is a tragic vision. Then we found that the cycles, solar cycle of the day, that is dawn. Then season is spring, like that. And then second we saw the seasonal cycle of the year. Spring again we can see about connected with romance. With these things we have discussed in detail, that's why I don't want to get into this. We found organic cycle of the human beings. See, another thing that we saw is that how different worlds behave in the comic and tragic visions. For example, we know the human world, the superhuman world, in comic vision, in tragic vision. The vegetable world, in comic vision and tragic vision. Then we saw the human as, then is the animal world as how they behave, etc. The mineral world and also the unformed world, so river and so on, isn't it? That we saw. And every age, every individual, in every part of the world, we have only two visions. What are they? One is comic, the other is tragic. All the other things, this is derived, you can say, derived. Lyric and any form of literature you can see, they are derived from these two visions. The fundamental visions are these two. Understand? And then we saw another very important concept, and that is collective unconscious. So the point is that it is genetically built in the mind of the human beings. That is collective. Every human being has got the ability, the potential to produce works of art. Every human being has. That is the assumption here. Carl Jung, that is his assumption. And since every human being has this, we say it's a collective. It's a collective quality or collective ability or collective potential. But that is unconscious. Unconscious means you are not an unconscious, you don't fall into an unconscious state, but that is dormant, that's mean. But when the time comes, when it is time for it to express, definitely it will express. For example, you can see flowers. They have got the potential, buds. They have got the potential to become flowers. But some become flowers when night begins. Some in the morning, isn't it? So that is the environment, so to say, isn't it? Jasmine, for example, night flower, right? Then lotus, morning flower. So this in the same way, potential is there. That potential to express, you require a particular situation. That's the point. So, and visions we have also. And comic vision and tragic vision, you will find it in the cycle of the day also. What is it? Light and darkness. The comic vision is light and the tragic vision is darkness. Understand? A search for this is actually what are we doing? What does archetypal criticism try to do? A search for the underlying recurrent patterns in literature. You know, the other day I told you about Ik Pyar Ka Nagma Hai. Ik Pyar Ka Nagma Hai, and then you can see Kuch Pana Hai, Pakar Khona Hai. So that is the cycle actually. When Kuch Pana Hai, so that is light. Kuch Khona Hai, that is darkness. When the other thing is that get and lose. Then there is another cycle also. That is get and lose, hide and seek again. See, hiding, darkness. Seeking and finding, that is light. So this is what happens that is a cycle. This takes place everywhere, in every civilization, in every individual, every age. So that is the assumption, or that is the way archetypal criticism argues. Okay. A search for underlying recurrent patterns. Now, from where do you get this idea of comic vision? It is there in your mind. Tragic vision, there in your mind. It is genetically built in. Or you can say this DNA written. Or you can say this is in the mental structure of every being. Provided in a time comes, it will express itself. Okay. I told you when I was discussing this, I told you, you take a lion for a sightseeing trip to Taj Mahal, he can't understand anything. But a humans, why? Because that structure is there. That's the point. Okay, clear. Now, a fourth point that he wants to tell us is, criticism is a structure of thought and knowledge independent. That is it. Criticism is a structure of thought and knowledge existing in its own right with some measure of independence from the art it deals with. What is the art it deals with? Whatever it is. You can criticize a picture, you can criticize a painting, you can criticize a sculpture, you can play a statue, you can criticize a film, you can criticize a book. Independent of this, that this criticism has got a structure and a thought and a knowledge which has got an independent existence. And a fifth point is, criticism can talk while all arts are dumb. That is a wonderful critical insight. Only criticism can talk. All the other arts are dumb. So shall I put down on the board now? So in literature, second point is that it's about recurrent patterns. Recurrent patterns that you will find in every age, every individual, every culture, and like cycles and so on. Third one is for a search for underlying patterns. Search for underlying patterns. What we call collective unconscious. Collective unconscious. Understand? And the fourth point that we have seen is the conclusion. Criticism is a structure of thought and knowledge existing independently. Criticism is independent of the object with which it deals. Objects means work of art. It is an independent structure, independent thought. And the fifth point we can say, that's very important. Actually, criticism can talk. All the others, art, they are dumb. You get a textbook cannot talk. You see a statue, it cannot talk. You see a painting, it cannot talk. You get the wasteland in your hand, it cannot talk. Only criticism, critic can talk about it. And that's a wonderful dissertation. As I told you, this was popular in 1940s and 50s. 1940s and 50s, this period. And you can see, there was another person, Maud Botkin. You must have heard of this name, Maud Botkin. Now, this author made some practical work on this. For example, archetypal patterns in poetry. Archetypal patterns. Maud Botkin's work. Patterns in poetry. Archetypal patterns in poetry. What has been done is there is some application of this. Try to apply this to Coleridge's Ancient Mariner, Shakespeare's Hamlet, then Othello, and also Paradise Lost. So this method of criticism was applied or practically done on 4 texts. That is in this book, Archetypal Patterns in Poetry. First one was this Ancient Mariner. Second, Hamlet. Third, Othello. And fourth, Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost. And again, in Fearful Symmetry, that is a book written by Northrop Frye himself, in Fearful Symmetry. Fearful Symmetry. He has shown how William Blake deliberately used regular patterns of symbolism found in Milton and the Bible. In Fearful Symmetry, symmetry means sameness. So in Fearful Symmetry, again a book written by Northrop Frye. So he says how William Blake has deliberately used the symbolisms, the pattern of symbolisms found in Milton and the Bible. So what does that mean again? It means that there are recurrent universal patterns or motifs holding the same or similar meaning and significance for all individuals, for all ages, and for every part of the world. So that is it. So these are some concluding words. But when I tell you the next, when I give you a remark written by Harold Bloom, made by Harold Bloom about this, Harold Bloom, and a very famous critic in this modern era as Harold Bloom. In his introduction to the archetypes of criticism. In his introduction, he has written an introduction, he says, please carefully listen to me, the quotation I will give you. He says, according to his opinion, shall I write it on the board? I think it's better, isn't it? Yes. So that's better. According to Harold Bloom, Bloom says that don't be disappointed by this when I write it on the board. Bloom says, and it is a very interesting remark also, because you can see these days, the 20th century now in modern era, many people don't do this archetypal criticism. But for us it is important because we are students of literature, isn't it? Frye and his opponents, says Frye, Harold Bloom. It's a remark made by Harold Bloom. In the introduction to the archetype of criticism by Northrop Frye. Frye and his opponents have been folded. Frye and his opponents have been folded. That's the thing. Means nowadays reads it. Have been folded together as antique. Have been folded together as antique. What is antique means? The archetypal criticism has now become a museum piece. That is antique. Then sometimes you will ask me another question, sir, why did you do all this work, last 12 lectures and plus this 13, if it is an antique? But it gives insights. You should understand that. Not all forms of criticism, all approaches to interpretation of literature may not be as important as may not remain important all the time. Understand that? May not be, for example, professional lyrical ballads may not be as important as it was when it first appeared or when it was first published by Wordsworth. Such things can happen. Cultural criticism, Mathew, for example. So, these things can happen, but still, being students of literature, we are supposed to know this. And there is some pressure in doing it. Some intellectual kind of, what we must say. This criticism is one of the, literary criticism is one of the most lovable subjects, I would say, topics for us to read and understand and also try to get into discussions, isn't it? Because as we have said, only criticism can talk, books and other works of art cannot talk. So Frye and his opponents have been folded together as antique. Why? What is the reason? Because it says, modern is inundated by the counter-cultural flood of. There is a counter-cultural flood now taking place. So he says, Frye and his opponents have been folded together as antique. Why? Because the modern is inundated by the counter-cultural flood. Because the modernists inundated by the counter-cultural flood. Now, what is this flood? So, what are the slogans now in criticism? In criticism today we come across Derrida, feminism, Foucault, Lyotard. So these are the people today in vogue, popular. So the feminism, then we have got deconstruction, sub-Marxist, queer theories, lots of things now. So you have got different. Feminism is one, queer theories feminism, then queer theories, and we have got also other counter-cultural revolution, sub-Marxist you have, see, and then we have got the ambitious, see, you have got sub-Marxist, isn't it? Marxism and feminism, queer theories, lots of things are there, no? And then we have got what we say, semiotics has get into this, isn't it? Semioticians, see that flooded, so to say. The critical market, the critical market is flooded with this kind of feminism, queer theories, Marxist, semioticians, and the ambitious disciples of Foucault, Derrida, and other Parisian prophets. And the ambitious disciples of Foucault, Foucault, Derrida, then who else? And that Parisian and those. So we can see feminism, queer theories, sub-Marxists, semioticians, and ambitious disciples of Foucault, Derrida, and other Parisian prophets. So this is the condition of structuralism, post-structuralism, modernism, postmodernism, almost the same. Same meaning, isn't it? Yes. Multiple meaning. A text at war with itself. This is the idea, no? In the Derridian concept, a text is at war with itself. And then there are conflicts within the subversions within the text. So a lot of new words are there. No? And then the fluidity of meaning. So when what happens is at the end, when you see Derridian concepts, you find there is no meaning, nothing, and finally no meaning at all. Significance simply vanishes because it is deference, differing and postponing. That is deference. Then finally what happens? There is no meaning, fluidity of meaning, no end. Death of the author, Ronald Barthes, death of the author. Such theories and such. So, critical world has been inundated, flooded. There is a kind of submersion. That's what happened. During floods, the fields will be submerged, exactly like that. So the critical field has been. So once again, finally this is the conclusion. This is the final, the conclusion when we come to the end of this discussion. That is, Harold Bloom in his introduction to the archetype of criticism, he writes, Harold Bloom is today's very prominent critic, says, Frye and his opponents have been folded together as anti. Closed. Museum is. Why? Because the modern is inundated by countercultural flood. The modernists have been now inundated by countercultural flood, such as feminism, queer theories, sub-Marxist semioticians, and the ambitious disciples of Foucault, Derrida, and other Parisian prophets. I think that you are now almost sure that the things have been, I think I have made things clear to you. Hope that although we have this conclusion, we have reached this conclusion like this, but still I say that this is a very good intellectual exercise for us. So we get a panoptic view, we can say. Panoptic view, of course, that is inverted commas borrowed from Foucault in a negative sense, but in a positive sense we can say you get a panoptic view of the world of literature, not only here but everywhere. An inclusive view, a synoptic view. So with this, we come to the end of this discussion. Bye, have a nice day. Hope that you have been enjoying. You have understood what I have told you. So till we meet again, bye.